All right. Welcome, folks. It is the first week of classes, and here we are orienting you to the Office of Undergraduate Research, the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. I see a lot of familiar names and some new names here as well. Super excited to have folks joining us. And thank you all for being faculty mentors. We may have some graduate student mentors joining us as well who are supporting undergraduate researchers in the program UROP. My name is Dr. Anisabel Fukushima. I'm the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies. I am excited to say a little bit more about mentoring, but before we go ahead and get started, why don't we go ahead and introduce the OUR team to you? Not everyone's here, but I'm going to punt it over to Cindy Greaves, who you all must know. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Greaves. I'm the Associate Director in the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I manage our UROP program. So you'll be hearing from me or seeing emails from me a few times this semester.
Yeah, Cindy's great. If you have a question about anything OUR related, she can answer it. I'd also like to introduce you to Angie, who's going to say something a bit later, but let's just make sure you meet Angie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Angie Leva. I am the Academic Program Coordinator, and I am the point of contact for the SPUR program, and you'll be hearing a lot about SPUR in the next coming months.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, team, for introducing yourselves. I would like to have our colleagues just take a moment to share in the chat your name, your affiliation, as well as just one line or a few words on what you're working on with your undergraduate researcher. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. It is all coming in wonderful. All kinds of research happening. Wow, it's quite dynamic. Thank you so much. Cindy, make sure you save the chat. This is so cool. It's lovely to see what folks are up to from doing research in medicine to, some of these words are actually new language for me. So thank you all for all the amazing stuff you're doing and for introducing yourselves. As you can see, we are coming from across campus, and I just want to thank you all for your commitments to undergraduate research. I'm going to go ahead and just move forward with some of the updates. Some of this stuff will be familiar to you if you've been to our orientation. Thank you so much. And some of it may be new if this is your first time mentoring. So thank you for first-time mentors. And for those that are returning veterans, we appreciate you for coming back to us every semester. We cannot do this work without all of you. We're going to do an overview of Office of Undergraduate Research, a little bit about the UROP program, mentor-mentee expectations, and supporting your mentoring relationships across difference. We also are going to share some opportunities to collaborate with the office and also offer time for discussion. And so I'm just going to get right to it. As you all know, we are the Office of Undergraduate Research and we sit in undergraduate studies. Our commitments is to faculty and student collaborations, and we pursue excellence. We believe that excellence requires diversity, and we pursue this through equitable programming that promotes diverse representation. And so thank you all for your commitments. We are very much in line with the university's commitments as a Research One university, and much of our programming and activities includes faculty-student collaborations, education outreach, grants and awards, advising, research advising, and recognition. So as Many of you might have heard me say before, but for those of you that are new, one of the things that we are very much committed to is seeing and recognizing that undergraduate research is a public good, that our students, when they do research, they are solving societal problems, and that what we know is that the students who participate in undergraduate research, working with faculty at the U or with graduate students in some cases, is that oftentimes those students who have positive experiences become ambassadors for an institution as well. And so there's many goods that are served through undergraduate research. It is also a high impact practice, and we recognize that undergraduate research matters because it promotes retention towards graduation as well, in particular for diverse populations, but all of our students. It also impacts career and post-graduation decisions. We know that oftentimes our students make decisions about their careers because of their undergraduate research experience, whether that decision is to continue to work on that very thing that they start with all of you, or to do something different with the skills that they learned. They develop a range of skills. And one fun fact about what we just recently learned, I don't have the actual stats, that's going to be coming, is that what we learned about our transfer students who were participating in a lot of the transfer orientations is that the number one thing that they were interested in is research. And so we're super excited to get more students who are transferring to the University of Utah also interested in research. Super exciting stuff happening. One of the things that the office supports and recognizes that research does happen in curriculum. Many of you are teaching courses where you are teaching research methods, practice, as well as you are teaching about different theories and philosophies and content that are based on research. We also know that what you are participating in and supporting is research and experiences beyond the classroom, where students participate in and lead research. And so thank you all for your commitment for that very high impact experience. Some of the things that you are doing pedagogically is supporting students in thinking like a research metacognition, creating a sense of belonging to academia by participating in research communities. You are maybe scaffolding a sequence of experiences to support the research process that varies by field. We recognize it looks very different across fields, and that students are a central part of our research enterprise. And so as we continue with our endeavor as an R1 institution, our undergraduate students are very much a part of that process. Here, this is to just give you a sense of the breakdown for this fall. That number is not correct. That number should be 203. Is that the number, Cindy? I can't remember.
104.
204. Okay, very close, very close. Over 200, I could have just said. But here you can see the nice breakdown of the participation by college. We have the highest participation from engineering, followed by medicine, and then third up is CSBS, then science. But hey, smaller colleges, you are doing great too. So there's no number that's too small. We love when we see participation across the 18 colleges, and in this case, I believe it's 17. So thank you all. If you want to know a little bit more about our students and how you are supporting diversity in research, 55% of UROP's participation since 2015 were identified as female. And that we know this fall, it's 58%. Hey, look at that. We have more women identifying, breaking barriers in research. Exciting. Thank you all for mentoring diversely. There was also about, I think it was 6%. I'd have to double check my numbers, but there was a good 6%, something like that, that were gender nonconforming and gender non-binary. So super exciting there as well. Did not make it into the slide, but want to acknowledge it as well. But we do recognize that undergraduate research is seminal to addressing gender inequities in research. We know that there's much to do with diversity around racial categories, and that since 2015, our UROP participants have been BIPOC, 34% have been BIPOC, and this fall specifically 27%. Hey, that's not bad. We know, if you want to know the numbers more specifically, our highest participation are those who identify as Asian, and then followed by mixed race, and that there is much work to be done with those of Latinidad. So when I get more of our Hispanic, Latinx students participating in research, and so encourage you to support that endeavor as well as there's growing participation with Black, Pacific Islander, American Indian, Alaskan Native as well. And so thank you all for your commitments with racial diversity in undergraduate research. Does not look the same across fields. There's much work to be done in varying fields, but that's just a general trend with UROP. As well as that 24% of our students were transfer students since 2015 who have been participating in our undergraduate research funding programs, as well as 23% identify as first gen. And so that's super exciting to see. And I didn't add the trio kind of low income rates, but happy to share that if folks have questions at some point. Overall, we know that our students have very good GPAs, in my opinion, 3.5 overall. And that while we know that there's zigzagging, generally fall semester, hey folks, we're entering a fall semester, this is when students tend to do poorer. Oftentimes it's because maybe this is after, having a nice rest in the summer, they're returning, getting back into the grooves a little bit harder, or maybe they're transfer students and then just the shift in culture is harder. We generally know that students have a harder time in the fall. And so we want to remind you that we are in a fall semester. And so I'm going to talk about some resources, and that's just something to think about with your undergraduate researchers as well. 58% graduate in 4 years. This is well above the 30% rate for our undergrads at the University of Utah. And most folks think that it's because our students are honors students. That's why they do so well, when in fact, 60% of our students are not in honors. And I think that's an important fact because we do not have GPA requirements for our programs and for mentoring. Is that all you have to do is have a mentoring connection, and that is the most important thing to participate in research. So thank you for getting our students to graduate, as well as getting our students to do well. And don't forget, though, that we are in a fall semester. I'm going to pause. Is there a question? Oh, no, people are just, that was the last chat of introducing. Okay, so one of the things that we just want to remind ourselves is that diversity matters. It's not even across fields, and that there's much to do in supporting our students who come from diverse backgrounds, as well as that I think that there's much to be done in a varieties of settings. And so just to kind of make an FYI about that. I think that one of the things is that if you're interested in supporting your student across difference, which there's many differences, students research who participate in research live with disabilities, come from different, income, also have varying gender identities, racial identities. So that difference is varied, as well as what we know is that many of our faculty are mentoring students who are not from their field. So oftentimes your students are majoring in something that might be sideways or next to your field, but not exactly in. So they're not integrated in your field. So diversity is multiple. But some of the things you can do to support that student across that difference is attend EDI events, partner with schools who expertise is in diversity and inclusion, or work with other faculty across fields. And that I think that, maybe examine how difference matters in your own disciplinary fields, right? Methodologically, the communities that you're working with, and reflect on how diverse are the people you are citing. I'm just using some examples here of hashtag cite Black women and all of that, but there's other examples as well. Okay. So we are supporting mentees across some of the things that we know is that we are working in a predominantly white institution that is growing in diversity, but recognizing that our students are experiencing the realities of maybe feeling like they're the lonely only in their fields. And so some of the things is to keep in mind is that they may experience negative environments. It may not be from your lab or research communities. It may even be from outside of it. And so just keep in mind that our students, as they navigate higher ed, they may be having experiences that impact their ability to persist and participate in the research community. Have those conversations, connect them with the resources, and know that they're interacting with a variety of spaces that impact a sense of belonging. And that we as faculty, and faculty too, are ambassadors of the institution, and we may be the student's first connection to the university or feeling connected to a community. And so this is a very important relationship that you all are embarking on. And so some of the things you can do to support your student, some of you, this may not be new, but just as a reminder, reminder is assume that your student or mentee is coming from zero. Don't assume they know things, assume they don't know things. And, you know, a reminder about language, don't assume that they know the terms that you're using. You know, help to translate those terms into everyday use for them. And consider that English may not be their preferred language. And so sometimes they're also translating not only across fields of thought, but translating literally in language. And so one of the things we can also rethink is awarding the awarded. Oftentimes we might recruit students who look very shiny because they have lots of awards in their resume, but recognize that some of our students may not have had the opportunity to be recognized for the awesome work that they could be doing. And so this might be an opportunity to get a student who could be very awardable in the future to participate in research. I think one of the things that's important is share with your student mentees your messy first drafts, your challenges, your strategies of success. This is just as a reminder. I know many of you do this, but just to remind ourselves as you embark on this UROP mentor-mentee relationship, these are things you could be doing. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, so some of the things though, remember that zigzag I talked about is I do want to remind you as UROP faculty or graduate student mentors is that, you know, our students may be experiencing a variety of things outside of your research environment that impacts their ability to show up. We know that more than 60% of college students, and this was from 2020 to 2021 survey, were experiencing at least one mental health problem. And so, you know, even though we are out of a global pandemic, we know that we are still not out of it, that our communities are still feeling the fatigue, the impact, the trauma, the loss of loved ones or family members from that. And so just keep those things in mind, that those are things that impact our ability to show up for research, and that there are other things that your students may be experiencing, pressures and stress, personal, they might fall out of love, they might fall in love, they may have family impacts, housing insecurity, financial instability, and other stressors that impact their ability to participate in research environments. And that even the most high-performing students may be experiencing things like this. So things to consider that you might notice, pay attention to, are they not meeting deadlines? Are they missing meetings? Do you notice stress in communication that comes across as miscommunication? We want to assume the best of each other, but know that sometimes there may be things happening. You may be experiencing these things as well. You know, the work that they complete may not be meeting expectations, or that they're literally expressing verbal language that's suggesting stress, you know, difficulty sleeping, eating, chronic medical issues or concerns, just, you know, things to pay attention to with your mentee. So as you are paying attention to these things, there are a range of resources, and these slides will be shared with you that you can connect with mental health, with student affairs. We are mandated reporters. I want to always remind us that every single time you are a mandated reporter, if a student is experiencing anything related to Title IX, whether that is discrimination or any forms of violence in their lives, we encourage you to remember your mandate to report. And that also there is case management support with the Dean of Students. There are student success coaches, so maybe it's not rising to the level of needing to report it, but they just need help with time management, from you know, things of mapping out a strategy. Rely on the student success coaches as their support, and that know that there is disability access and accommodation. Sometimes we need the tools and support to understand how we support our community and our research teams. So just a little bit about that. Also, as a reminder, we are warm connection to other resources such as the EDI centers, the Women's Resource Center, Office of First Gen, and the LGBT Resource Center. So if your student is may affiliate or identify with those communities, please do connect them to those resources. Don't assume anything, so just give them all the resources and they can choose if that is them. And so one of the things I just wanted to pause for is, like, when we think about our mentoring, I'd love to know and pause, what is your philosophy for mentoring? And you can either use the chat function or you can unmute yourself and share your philosophy for mentoring. Cindy, I see you're unmuted, so I'll just call on you. I know you have strong philosophies on mentoring. You are a regular. So yeah.
I don't know. Actually, it's mostly just a muddle. I can't say that I've got a, absolute plan for mentoring, although there are a number of plans, but I try to make sure that I've got at least a bi-weekly meeting with undergraduates. They need more time than that, but we have a bi-weekly group meeting. And then I pair my undergraduates with graduate students or other undergrads. Like if I have 3 undergrads working together, they kind of also self-peer mentor. And I try to make sure that they have resources besides me almost every day of the week, because if they're stuck, they're useless. So that I think is the most important thing. And then group meeting ends up being pretty much a mentoring thing, because inevitably everybody, nothing is working on any particular week, right? Everybody is always stuck and things are always not going right. That's how research is. Like every 2 weeks, somebody's stuck on something. If they weren't stuck, whatever they got past, they're now stuck on the next thing. So I think it's been really helpful that the new students see how we interact with the older students who are stuck, because they'll mention, oh, I can see it's no big deal. If I have a problem, I could just bring it up. Like, yes, that's right. So I think they have to see how you interact with all students in order to feel safe themselves. So when you're working with other students, you are mentoring all of them, it turns out.
Yeah.
So I think that's the group meeting's essential.
I love that. And I appreciate the multi-level mentoring that you integrate in your own teams, and I know some teams are small teams of 2, but if you have multiple, that's fabulous. Anyone else want to share your mentoring philosophy? Go ahead.
And I just want to say, you have such a good mentoring class in Office of Undergraduate Research that I send my graduate students to. And they love it. It works out. They feel like they learn a lot. And when they go to apply for faculty positions, they almost always include that. So that's a really super thing. Everybody should send their students to that program.
Yeah. And I love that at Kiko, you're already thinking ahead about, supporting students who live with a disability and are participating in research. Please do connect with the office. Our students have a range of needs. We recognize that we do have compassionate few-day extensions. Please don't tell everyone that. We do need to get stuff in on time so Cindy can move forward. It makes it a little hard if everything's coming in late for our staff who work really hard to get it out to the hundreds of reviewers that are reviewing the applications, which many of you have also served on. Yeah, any other mentoring philosophy folks want to share, insights? It is the sea of names and black boxes that I'm looking back, that are looking back at me. Well, think about it. If you want to share, I'd love to hear from you all. We're going to get back to it. There's more stuff to get through. And thank you for sharing, Cindy, your experience. So just to move forward with UROP expectations, as a reminder of that, is that, your students are paid $1,200 for 120 hours of work done in one semester. How that looks and distributed over time, they have timelined with you as part of their submission to UROP. It's up to you to come up with those kind of, work hours. It may look, uneven in some weeks. They may work more in some, less in others. That's up to you. They may work consistently across. One of the things, as a reminder, our deadline for Falls Pass, but the next spring deadline. Oh, actually, Cindy, it's November 1st, isn't it? Or November 3rd? We need to update.
November 3rd. Yeah, we need to update that.
Yeah, November 3rd is the spring deadline. So if you have a student who's interested in renewal, or you have other students you're trying to recruit, November 3rd is the deadline. And so please encourage your students to get that in. When you go to the, Cindy, can you plop in this link to folks in the chat? Is that you'll find on our website that there is mentor expectations that you signed up for, as a friendly reminder around supporting the student. If you have certifications, that is your responsibility in your field to support that. Have a schedule, review the bi-monthly emails that come from Cindy to check in. We usually ask you only to connect with us if things aren't going well, because in that way we can actually follow up, and we really do follow up. So there's been many times where faculty will connect with us and say, hey, my student isn't responding, hasn't been showing up. We try to do a soft connection. We believe in educational connections and want to support the student in getting back on track. So if the office can help you connect the student to resources so they can get back on track, we are there to support you. If there's a reason it's not working out, we are also there to support you and your student in figuring out the next plan, because we recognize that sometimes life happens and we are not able to continue on, and that we have to make different shifts in plans. And so please do respond. We also like good news. So please do send Cindy a good news if things are going great, because, you know, we don't only want to hear when it's bad news. So please do tell us when things are fantastic. We love hearing that too. If you're publishing with your student or any of that, please do let us know about it. And okay, oops, sorry, it really wants to open up this link that I embedded here. So let me go ahead and there. All right. Your students have already gone to the orientation. So I'm going to pause and have Cindy kind of just give you a quick run through of what your students have been updated on.
Yeah, so all students were required to go to our UROP or our orientation. Most of them have done that. There's a few who were out of town. They did notify us, and so they do have a makeup option. And they are in the process of getting hired through HR. Most of the students who are renewals, if they're coming back from from summer semester, they don't have to go through any process. We can just carry their hiring employment over to fall semester. Any of the new students do have to still fill out a new hire form, and they have to send it to our HR representative. So most of them are either already hired because they have another job on campus. They've already worked with HR where they filled out their I-9 if they are new to the employment at the U. But we are keeping track of them, and hopefully we can get them all hired by August 31st. That was the goal, because our UROP start date is officially September 1st. And so I'm going to be following up with students in the next few days, just to make sure anybody if they have any questions, or if they're concerned about their hiring, if they need to get hired or not, I will be reaching out to them. But it might be helpful for you all to also reach out to your students, just to make sure that they've done the process. They've all received the instructions in their original UROP award letter, so they know what they need to do. I do know that sometimes getting back into the first week of school, they've got a lot going on, but if you could just give them a little nudge and just make sure they've got all the requirements done, that would be helpful.
And just as a friendly reminder, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but our students don't always check their emails. And so encourage them to get into the habit of checking emails because important information is coming or has come their way. And so thank you, Cindy, for those logistics. Does anyone have a question? You're welcome to use the chat or just unmute yourself if you have a question about the logistics that your student is going through right now. One thing I do want to say as you think about those questions is that we do not believe that legal status should be a barrier. So if a student's status prevents them from working, please just have them connect with us. We want to support students. We really do believe in equity and opportunity. I want to see all students accessing research. And so, yeah, any questions about process where your scholars are at? No? Okay, well, you can always chat away, unmute yourself. Feel free to just unmute yourself. So other things to remind yourself, your students are required to attend the education series. They must attend 2 events. At least one must be attended live or in Zoom. We don't do in person anymore, Cindy, right? We just do them online. So we need to update that website. And so if we can make sure, just as a reminder, have them attend it. There's tracks you'll see, and actually there's a searchable feature. I encourage all of you to check it out. Because it's super cool. You can actually embed a lot of the content into your own teaching. So if you're mentoring students, please do utilize the videos. There's over 60 now. Lots of great content that we've been organizing. Last year we had over, I think, 4,000, nearly 5,000 viewers of our content. So please do check it out. Utilize it. It's there for you to use in your teaching. It's there for you to send to your students. If they have basic questions, for example, about abstract writing, literature reviews, to poster presentations, there's great content there for them. Lots of great content forthcoming, lots of great content in the past. Your students are also required to present at the Undergraduate Research Symposium. For the fall, we do a virtual symposium, which we invite them to present to. If they like the in-person experience and they are not graduating this fall, we do encourage them to present at our spring symposium, which is happening on April 9th. Super exciting. Don't forget, if you are mentoring a student on their poster, in general, do do look at their poster. Sometimes they forget to acknowledge people just because they don't know, like, those professional things, like who funded them, as well as that they had other authors because maybe they're in a research team. So just, take a look at that. And remember your mentees required to present at one of our symposium. It has to be an OUR symposium. We'll also be sending you a end of semester final report. It's always available online. Cindy can plug that link in for you if you want to find those resources. But just as a reminder about that. And it really is important for your mentee to fill that out. If they do not fill it out, they are ineligible for future funding. And so we really hate to give them the bad news when that happens. It really does hurt our heart to say, hey, you did not finish these very basic things. But know that we're very compassionate. So if it was just a forgetfulness, Cindy does follow up. We're not trying to penalize folks. We need to get that stuff in though, and have them attending our events. As a friendly reminder, there's many resources to you all. You'll find that when you go to the OUR website, that you'll find that there is very big buttons that are super accessible. And so one of the things, and thank you, Cindy, for plugging the summer one. Just as an FYI for that summer symposium, students presenting at the summer symposium, over 78 universities were represented this past summer. Super cool. Okay, so now with opportunities for you and your mentees, we have tons of funding. When you go through that link, you'll find that one of them, it'll have a bunch of opportunities. Our early exploration scholarship is live. Your mentees probably won't be eligible for this, but if you're working with other students, we just want to remind you about this. This is for students in the first 60 credits to really learn about getting connected to mentors and getting the support for that so they can begin the research endeavor. $500 scholarship to those students. So we encourage you to let your students know about it. I'm going to pause and let Angie pop on in.
Thanks, Dr. Fukushima. So SPUR, Summer Program for Undergraduate Research. It is our nationally competitive summer opportunity. That being said, when we talk about this to students, we do want to tell them, even though it is competitive and we only accept about 10% of our applicants, that should definitely not discourage them from applying. So when you are talking to students about this, please, don't let them get turned off by that. It is a 10-week program in the summer. We do provide housing as well as U benefits and things like that as they stay here in Salt Lake. It is a $5,000 stipend that will be equally dispersed throughout the 10 weeks. We do have currently our summer 2024 applications for students. They will be opening in November, but currently the application for mentors is open right now, and I can put a link to our website here in the chat for y'all to kind of peruse the mentor application. That, like I said, that application is open right now and it will close October 6th.
If folks have questions about this, we can select up to 30 faculty. We try to go with faculty field diversity. And so we encourage you to submit. If you have questions about submitting an application, please do let us know. There are some stipulations where if you recently just did last summer, we try not to select faculty in consecutive years. We're trying to really diversify this because it really does, it's money to hire a student for you to do research. And we want to support as many faculty across campus as we possibly can. And so that's just a reminder that the SPUR faculty deadline's live. Really one of the highlights I want to just remind you all, if you do decide to submit, the things that are will make it or break it is your philosophy around mentoring. So if you can really think about that and have a robust statement, don't just say I meet with my student once a week and done and that's it. Tell us more. The more you can share, the more you can actually beef up that philosophy. That also gets students interested in working with you. And so I don't know if folks have questions about SPUR.
Also, really quickly, we do have a SPUR mentor info session for faculty.
Yes.
That is coming up. It is going to be September 20th at 10 a.m. So if you are interested, have any questions about becoming a faculty mentor, please join us. Here in our link for our website, there is a link for you to register and join.
Thank you, Angie. All right, we'll keep on going. So we're not going to spend too much time on that since there's an info session for you to join us. There's also scholarships for your students. So Cindy sends out those deadlines to students in our listservs. Please let them know they need to pay attention to those emails and those deadlines if they want to apply for the scholarships that we provide that are through private donors. The other thing is your students are eligible for travel and small grants. This is getting more competitive. $500 for travel, $500 for small grants such as supplies or special training fees and other costs. And just as a reminder, we review these monthly, and we do have a small committee of student leaders who review that. And so encourage your students to apply for the opportunity, and if they don't get it, to try again. The other thing that we provide is a Monson Prize. This is a competitive essay that is committed by faculty who review a student essay on the subject of social change. So we encourage you to encourage your students to submit if they are writing about that. One reminder is that we do have a database to post opportunities. Please do submit to the database if you want to have students find you. This database is very robust. You let us know what goes in there. Lots of great opportunities. We love it when you can keyword search it and find different faculty, different opportunities. It does have to have a faculty attached to the opportunity. So if you have staff that you're working with, then please do encourage them to just list you as the PI on it. So then that way we know that it is attached to a faculty mentor. So just as a friendly reminder about the opportunities there. And so, yeah, it's going to keep trying to click through to that. All right, folks. Reminder that students can graduate with a research scholar designation. This looks really good if they're going to be going to grad school. It shows up in their transcript. All they need is 2 semesters of research presented at the symposium and submitted to the journal Range. And so this is they've already completed, they'll have completed at least half of this by the time they complete the semester. So really encourage your students to remember those deadlines, submit for the designation. The journal Range in the first issue had 2,126 unique visitors over a 4-month period. That number keeps growing. Super exciting to get students published. One little friendly reminder is if your student's working with you on a project and it's on your data and you are supposed to be a co-author, please remind them to list their co-authors because we want to make sure there is proper attribution and all of that. And so that's another opportunity for you and your mentees. We have an IRB lab. If you're working on human subjects, any student can drop into this, graduate students sometimes drop into this to receive support on their institutional review board applications. Lots of information. We have literally at the tips of our fingers staff support with the IRB. And so know that there are questions our students can answer, but they can answer more complicated questions with staff support. And the staff support is with IRB. So we are working with the VPR's office on those IRB labs. So we encourage you to have your students go to the IRB lab. Funding Fridays, if you have other students applying for opportunities, every Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., students can drop in to have their questions answered. Send your students our ways. Don't feel like you have to answer all the questions. We are here to help support you. Send them that way. It is supported by both staff and peer mentors. And so just as a reminder, as you visit our website, we have these very helpful links, lots of information for getting started, finding a mentor, our OUR funding, and a research database. We encourage you to send your students our way. There are specific opportunities for you that I just want to remind you about, which is that you are faculty affiliates by being a UROP faculty mentor. Cindy has sent you a link to a form to update your faculty status. If you do not see yourself listed, then please do fill out this form. If you see yourself listed but would like an update to how you're listed, please fill out this form. And so that's just a wonderful way for students to find you. We do have on our, as you saw in this previous link on our main page, here it has, just as a reminder, find a faculty mentor. And then here it has information on how to connect with folks, and then it can link further in to our database of faculty mentors. And so we really encourage you to fill this out. Otherwise, it will just have your very basic information, such as your name and affiliation. If you've been promoted, please update us because we are not always looking to see who's been updated and promoted. So also check it out, because if you've had a recent promotion, please do let us know. So we encourage you to publish with your students. If if you've published in other places, to let us know about your success. Include students in your FAR or your faculty profile. This is really important. I know the new system is going to allow us to be able to auto-populate. We're working on that, where it can allow an auto-population of our faculty mentors. But in the interim, please do list your students. It's so important that you do that. The other thing is that there's resources we can present at your classes. We also, in our education series, you're able to embed our video content into your modules. If you are organizing an event that's related to undergraduate research and want us to sponsor, please do connect with me. The other thing we want to remind you is that I do provide letters of support. I do also collaborate on grants as well, depending on the grant type. If you're interested in partnering with the office on an NSF, LSAM, NIH, you name it, we have been supporting it. We really want you all to get the money. Not all the money has to come our way. It can go your way. And if that's the case and you want that to happen, please do apply. We are also working on applying for NSF sites. If you want to partner with the office, we would love to partner with you on that. LSAP is still under review, so I'm hoping to find out soon if we're going to resubmit that. So I'll keep folks posted as we know more about that. So that's just a little bit about the resources for you. Don't forget to list your mentees on your CV. Don't forget to tell us about your successes on social, anywhere. We want to know. And also don't forget to tell your dean that you would like to be nominated for the Outstanding Undergraduate Research Mentor Award. We now award that every year, and we would love to recognize our faculty mentors during the award ceremony. That will be happening on April 1st, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. Please connect with your dean. Usually we connect with the deans and associate deans about forming a committee and nominating somebody. So get it, go ahead and connect with your contact. Medicine has a different contact process. So if you don't know who your college contact is, you're more than welcome to just say, hey, I would like to be nominated. Who do I contact? You can always email me and I'm happy to introduce you to your college contact. It varies by college because you all have very different structures. As we are moving forward with some steps to do evaluation this year, as well as if you're interested in joining our mentor panels that will be supporting our early exploration scholars program. You want to present at our education series, or you want to offer a tour of your research facility, please fill this out. If you've already done it, thank you so much. It's on hold right now. We just hired a new person. Jennifer Santiago will be joining us early September, and she will be reaching out to you soon after to get those tours scheduled. So that is in process. So we're super excited to follow up with all of you regarding that soon. The annual report is live. If you want to see our success, which is your success, go ahead and check it out. We did promote it through our newsletter as well as through our different socials. Here's our contact. Here's our office. We want to connect with you, support you. I'd like to stop sharing and see, does anyone have any questions? How can we support you? Did we not answer a question? Do we need to talk about something to support you? We can stop recording because maybe you don't want to be recording asking this question. So Cindy, go ahead and stop the recording. Do folks have any specific